All right, so we have a couple of things here. The actuary, is that right, that made a recommendation? Not a recommendation, before he, you might want to cover this, before he would give us the final stuff. Evaluation. He is telling us that we have to backdate to September of this year and show the company contribution up from 16 to 18%, and 18% going forward based off of payroll.
Who's telling us this?
Actuary.
Has this gone to the pension board that we have here at Felps?
This, the 18, this is all board driven, has to be done to the board.
Yeah, the lawyer, our pension lawyer said that this isn't a committee,
This is all
a
board
decision,
stuff.
this is a board decision, that it shouldn't go through the committee.
So that is a change, like I said. When did it change up to 16%, do you know?
15 or 16?
2015,
It's been at
2016?
least two, it's probably been 3 years.
All right. So the deal is for funding reasons, that's why they're saying this needs to go up. So 70% funded?
I don't recall.
30, I mean,
Yeah.
it's somewhere. So this is what he's saying has to get it closer to the funding where it needs to be before they will even release this.
Final.
Yeah.
How does the motion need to be worded?
Approve the change from 16% to 18% for the employer's contribution effective September 1st, 2019.
Okay, I'll make a motion that
We don't have it, do we have it on the agenda? Is it the
Yes.
next action?
Yes.
Yep, all the
Very
pen-
good.
That's
all
why
this
we called it a
pension stuff
special
is-
meeting and not a special board work session.
I don't see that anywhere on here.
That part is not on here. That is the next part we're gonna cover that you have right there.
Review and action on recommended pension changes.
That is correct. This is the first part of the change, is the changing from 16%
Okay, I make a
to
motion that
18.
we change the employer contribution from 16% to 18%,
Effective.
effective September 1st.
Mr. Aiken makes a motion, do I hear a second? Go ahead, you got questions before we?
Yes, do we do each one individually, or can we do?
I plan on, if any
right?
changes,
The
well, this
rest-
is not,
Okay, the rest of these over here we'll do after. This one right there is one that basically is a mandatory. It's not on this page here, the next recommendations. This is just a completely different line item for the pension change.
Can I second?
okay, Ms. Castillo seconds, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Do we know what that's gonna do to the budget?
I figured it's
Too
in
late now.
Was
That's,
it?
remember what I said, that's the payroll, the
It's-
pensions, and we would talk about benefits?
So that part's already in there. So,
I bet Marcy already put that in the budget.
Yeah.
so the next things that you see in your folder on the pension aspect are suggestions that are being presented basically to help fund this pension plan better and to bring it, you know, to hopefully to where it's not so far underfunded going forward. So these changes are being proposed to the board. So right now in the pension plan, Marcy, help me on number 1 here. So the interest rate that is stated in the pension plan now,
Is 6%, which has not, that's part of the issue is the 6% has been in there for a lot of years. So when somebody leaves the plan, we're compounding their contribution at 6%. When they didn't, you know, they get their contribution back, they get the interest, but we're compounding it at 6%. Well, if you put that in a savings account, any other type of investment vehicle, you're not getting 6% compounded like this. So it is costing the participants that are going to retire or that are retired to fund a person that's leaving the company and taking their money with them. So we're changing that from 6% compounded to 2% simple interest. So we're still paying them for having it in there, but it's a more realistic interest amount.
Well, really, that's not realistic, because I can't take my money and put it anywhere for 2%. So,
But it's better than the 6 to 8.5 that's in the pension
yeah,
thing
yeah, I
right now.
understand
Yeah.
that.
So basically, if someone is here for 5 years and they were to leave, we gave them anywhere from what, 6.5 to 8%?
Well, the
of money
eight,
that they had.
yeah, the 8.5% was for if you worked for another municipal, you could roll your funds over, and then you could take that money back out at 8.5% interest, which is, it's just too high for, this plan, when this plan was put in place, interest rates were higher. Interest rates are no longer where they are, nor are they forecasted to be, so we're just compensating for that time difference.
So the other thing is, a lot of issues that you see with this pension plan is because years ago, this utility, for some reason, opted out of the state pension. What's the abbreviation for it?
TMRS.
TMRS. They opted out of that because that's where this utility was to begin
That's
with,
my understanding.
which was a big pool, which shares, has different investments in it, shares the operating cost. For some reason, this utility decided we want our own pension plan. Well, this utility's not big enough basically to have its own pension plan because of the cost associated with an individual plan. So we're out there, even the large ones have issues. We double or triple those issues because of our administrative fees just for a small plan like this. So when you have these fees to where this utility is trying to pay someone either 6% or 8% if you rolled it over, is not realistic. So basically, they're taking money that our fund is trying to make on all the contributions, trying to make it for a retirement, and they're pulling that out. Like she said, if you transferred the money in, like if you were at another utility that it was in a pension thing, your money then it's at 8.5. Our funds aren't even receiving that on our investment. We're not even making that. So we're paying out more than what our funds are even receiving. So if you think about being funded, you're here. Now all of a sudden you're going down just because someone took money out, and it shouldn't have gone down. They should have been paid their right share. We would have stayed flat, but instead you took a dip because we paid them more than what they should have
In other
been
words, they
receiving.
took money that someone else contributed, or the company contributed.
That no one, we didn't receive that much money. So it'd be like that I can pay you, my investment was 5%, but I'm turning around and I'm paying you 8%. Who's eating that 3%? The pool is.
Yeah.
So the whole pool went down by that percentage that you pulled out because we didn't recoup that. Now, if we made 12% and I paid you 8%, the pool turned out okay. But the way it's written, we always take a
Under
hit.
today's economic
Yes, we always take a
situation,
hit.
we
So
are
this
always-
is something, in my opinion, that we should look at every year or two and see if there's an adjustment that needs to be made. But in today's world, for the last 10 years, no one has come close at a bond market of making 2%. If you go put your thing in a bond market, or you go put it into a checking account or anything else, you're not getting 2%. You're getting what, 1/4%, if that? So, you know, that's what the recommendation was, is that we lower that number.
Marcy, could you explain that last sentence to me, number one?
This is all going to take effect January 1st, 2020, so if anybody leaves,
I still see 6% per annum on that last sentence.
yeah, so if you leave tomorrow,
Uh-huh.
then we're gonna pay you the 6%. This will not take effect until January 1st, 2020. So that's saying
Oh, okay.
for periods before,
From
the
now till the
shall,
first.
yeah, they're gonna stay in this place
So the
until the 1st
2%
of
will not go
2020.
into effect till January.
All of these
1st.
changes right here would be January 1st, just for the ease of accounting and the recommendation of how difficult it
So
would
after
be if we
January
swap
1st from
something.
now on, it will be 2% annum rather than 6.
That's what we're recommending. That's what, if you read the last sentence, also the higher rate applies to any accruals prior to that date, which the attorney determined was a requirement under
That
the
sentence is
executive
very
license.
misleading though. Well, it's hard to understand, but I see what you're saying.
This is an attorney writing this.
Yeah.
Can't blame Marcy.
Yeah, this is an
God,
attorney.
this is not my area of expertise.
Yeah, this is an attorney on that. So that is the first one
I
that you're
didn't
looking.
understand.
So that's the first one that you're looking at. So
Notwithstanding the foregoing,
So just to reiterate, it will not affect the employee or just the company?
Right.
I don't know what you're asking.
Who's that going off? Right, I agree.
It
I
only
agree with that
affects an
question.
employee leaving and taking their money out of the plan. It doesn't
Not
affect anybody
retiring.
retiring, it doesn't affect anybody here. So
Oh.
if you quit and you decide you wanna cash your money out or roll it over into something else, that's the only person it affects.
We're trying to keep our retirees from subsidizing those.
We're trying to keep our
That's
plan
correct.
participants from subsidizing those that are leaving.
That's what basically.
Well, let me tell you this, if I were working here and I quit, and I had $20,000 here, I wouldn't pull it out on a bet. You just keep throwing me that 6%, because that's 3 or 4 times more than I can make anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, that's exactly what the issue is.
Yeah,
Okay.
I make the
Well,
most.
hold on.
No, we're gonna do all of it.
Let's,
Oh, we're gonna do all one
my
time?
goal is to, if we can approve all of the recommended changes at one time, we can do it. If not, then we'll break it apart and work on the individual plans.
So how are you gonna determine that? You gonna look me in the eye and?
No, we're gonna let them finish their presentation,
Okay.
and then we're gonna talk about it.
Okay.
So Marcy, you wanna explain this one? This kinda goes with the other one that we talked about a little bit. You wanna go with it?
Number 2.
Yes.
This is the same thing right now. Everything stays the same except we're excluding overtime pay. So what's happening is they're not contributing their whole entire career here,
No,
but they're,
no. So 1 and 2, that, you're reading dot number 3 on the, I'm not looking at the same thing you are, I'm
What do you-
looking at this.
oh, I don't have, I'm not.
So 1 and 2 dot goes to the same one, the one the attorney wrote.
Okay, I don't,
Yeah, no, this is just an email from the attorney. So 1 and 2, they talk about the 8.5, so that goes into the same one,
yeah,
correct?
well,
How many
there's down
changes were
here,
there?
there's 3, has 8.5.
Okay, so that's it.
That's later.
Okay, these are in different order than this. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so
I
number
can do that, okay.
So number 2, what's happening is, all my career, I'm not working this overtime, but as the calculation is, these last couple of years, it bumps up my salary. And then the plan is required to pay that as if I had been contributing that larger amount my whole career. So that's how the actuary figures it out is, this is how much it has to be funded based on this payroll. Well, then they're basically freezing it in time with overtime, and then the plan is having to pay that, but it never was the Felps didn't contribute to support that, the employee didn't contribute to support that. So it's hurting the plan to have to, for anybody who consistently contributes overtime, it's probably less of an issue, but that's not really how things work. Overtime is up and down, but it's, when you retire, it's a snapshot. And so it really shouldn't be considered because you didn't contribute that the whole time. It is. With the way the plan is written now, it's earnings.
So, yeah, so it says earnings now, so basically what you look at is that some groups get overtime and some don't. Some people will take more overtime right when they get ready to retire, their last couple of years. So if they were at 60,000, then they start taking overtime and kick it to 100 for the last couple of years, their retirement's based off of 100, which in 30 years, they never funded any part of those increases. So there again, the company's having to eat that again by keeping up with raising that percentage now up to 18, 20, 22, 25% in that aspect. So the deal is the thought is it can be controlled better if it's just based off of what your base pay is. So if you make 60,000, that's what's contributed to your retirement. So when you retire, your average is 60, you contributed and the company contributed to be able to fund you instead of you changing your thing by overtime your last 2 years to 100,000 and then you didn't make any of those contributions. And then, you know, someone, the rest of the company is trying to fund that, or the company itself is trying to fund it.
I was gonna say, isn't that an incorrect statement? The correct statement is the pool is trying to fund it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You as an individual, because you're part of the pool as an individual. I'm saying all of y'all were employees.
So
but you're
I'm
not,
putting
but-
in money, I'm putting in my money all along and I'm working in the warehouse, I don't get any overtime. I'm working in the office and I don't get any overtime. But the guy that's out on the line gets called out to do this work after hours.
You're funding him.
I'm funding his retirement because if he's lucky enough to get a lot of that in the last 3 years he's here, he gets a disproportionate share of what's in the pool. Is that correct?
Correct. So that was, he looked up for the legality to see if that could be done, and yes, it could. There again, this is one that he said that should take place. You leave it the same as of now, and you change it 1/1/20.
It's not changing anything except it's putting everybody on an equal footing
Equal pay, yes.
because it's all done on base pay.
Base pay.
Okay, any questions on that? All right,
So Marcy, the next one, that 8.5 to 2, we've already explained that really, I guess,
Yeah,
right?
unless somebody has any additional questions or would like it explained again. The 8.5, would you like to explain it again?
That's basically the same thing as number one.
Yes, this is the one, like if someone came from a different municipality and they rolled their money over, you'd be paying them 8.5% because of that reason.
Right.
Now we're gonna say we're gonna get paid the same
January
as
first
anyone
is
else.
2%.
I
Yes, sir.
remember a guy saying, I moved all my retirement here, planning on retiring, and this is the reason why.
Yeah. So, any other questions on that, the 8.5 to 2? Because like I said, we talked about that on the first one. The next one is something that the attorney didn't even know that was in here. He was kind of questioning, what are you talking about? And so this utility, for some reason, somehow, somewhere, years ago, said if you work 20 years, you get 30 years of credit. So there again, you're underfunding. So like if you came in at 46 years of age and you started working and at 66 you retired, we would now pay your retirement based off of you being here for 30 years because you worked here for 20.
20 years.
So what happened to those other 10 years that you just got now your retirement based off of? Did you contribute? Did the company contribute? No and no. So it's underfunded once again. The attorney did, he goes, what are you talking about? I saw that in there. I said, well, that's not right. That shouldn't be like that. So, his recommendation is it's for the hours that you work, but if you're already here and you hit that 20, it stays in effect. We're not gonna rip that from that person. So if someone's here for 21 years, as of right now, they're falling underneath that category. But if someone here, like me, I don't qualify for a 20 to 30 because I didn't hit that 20 before we implemented this. So
everybody
Marcy's
that's
in it.
working today.
Marcy's hit the 20, Marcy's hit the 20, 30, she
Okay.
still gets it, it's not gonna be stripped from her.
Okay,
But me, I'm not at the 20, so I don't have a chance for it, is
Okay.
what he's saying. You can't take it away from someone that has earned that
that.
aspect. So there's
so
some-
anybody that's here now that has 20 years, and if they retire at 22 years, they get funded at 30.
30.
Okay.
Because we can't take that part away from them because it was already up there, but now,
So
like
we're
on
basically
me,
not doing anything to existing employees that qualify.
that qualify, that is correct. And that's what he said, that you can't take that away, but you can take it away from the other people that hadn't got there by the state, constitution,
No, you
can do
cannot
that.
offer it.
Yeah, but it won't be on there, but like I said, there are some people, Marcy, it won't work, you don't have to worry about it because of her age, she would hit the 30 years of work, but someone that started like at the, 46 years of age or hitting that 66, but they're not there yet, they wouldn't qualify because they're gonna get their actual number of years work. So there again, if someone was like that coming in at 46 and working to 66, we were underfunded by 10 years of contributions by the employee and the employer. So, underfunded? Yeah. So it's recommended to take that away, but you don't take it away from the people that have hit the 20-year mark.
is that gonna be effective till January 1st?
This one we can make, he recommended
one-
you can do it if we wanted to right now,
Yeah.
this one, or you can wait until January 1, whichever one we want to do on that one.
Whatever you do, you're still gonna have to pay them, right?
So, Yeah, I mean, like on Marcy, yeah, she qualifies, but what we can say is the date of change is as of November 1 of 19 instead of 1/1 of 20. We can move this one to now.
You may
And it
not,
won't- And it will not hurt the calculations and stuff of that nature. The other ones are too
Well, I
hard to
don't think-
calculate.
I mean, there's only a month there that somebody would fall in there and get it, right?
That's correct.
We
I don't know
have-
if, I don't know if anyone falls in there.
I don't think so, I don't.
I don't know
Let's
if anyone
just
even
do
falls.
it at 1/1.
we
And
can
then that
put-
way, if we have somebody that falls in there, you know, it's, we can
But-
suck up one or two people, but suck up 10 or 15 is a little
But
different.
this is one way, these changes to help on the funding of this pension plan without having to close it or do away with it. We can see what this looks like, see if
Or
it
rewrite
works. Or, yeah. So that's why this was mentioned, and I guess a lawyer had this for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, trying to research about the legality of it, and this is, because Marcy and I talked to him on the phone. I thought it was 3 weeks, but maybe a
Yeah,
month.
it's been at least 3 weeks.
And these are some of the things that he agreed to after he did all his research that were legal that we could do that would help the funding of the pension plan. So it is our recommendation as
So
to how it's written there.
You work 20 years and you would qualify for what kind of a percentage?
So like if you started at 46 and you did retire at 66.
No, let's say I started at 22 and I decided to retire at 42. What percentage of my salary would I get?
If you have the 20 years, you're fully vested, I think you get 65% of your highest 5 of 10 consecutive years.
Okay.
So they're gonna look at 10 years, they're gonna take the highest 5 consecutive, and then you receive 65% of that, and then if you select spousal and all these different things, the calculation
Changes is all different.
Okay, but just oranges to oranges. If I'm under the plan that I'm at now, and I make 20 years and you give me 30, what do I retire at?
A couple of thousand or
Yeah.
1,000 more or 2,000
It depends on your
more a
salary,
month.
but you're gonna get an additional benefit for 30 years of
30 years of
service than
service.
somebody
Is
who had
that-
20 years of
Because
service.
you use that number, what she's talking about, the 65, and you divide it by the number of years of service. So that division on that one would be by 20 and the other one would be by 30. You know, your multipliers and stuff that you look at. So that's why I'm saying it's a 10-year gap on there. So you're getting a third more. So let's say if you were $3,000, you're gonna add another 1,000 to it, that we're giving you a month.
Yeah.
So 12
And you really only work,
by 10,
really
so
only
you're
work
talking
20
about a
years.
minimum of 120 that you're getting extra that you didn't contribute to. That's minimum because you can do the 10-year minimum or life. So if that's the minimum, it would be is 120 if you were just, your pension was 3,000.
So we're saying now, if we go to January 1st, that can't do that anymore.
Yeah, his would be 3,000, so it's really, he's only get 3,000, not 4. Because that's what he funded the plan for, was for him to really receive 3. You didn't fund it to receive 4.
My deal is that if I'm 42 and I live to be 75, I'm making that extra grand for how many years? 33
For
years?
life, however long you pull on it. Yeah.
33.
Yeah. And that's how, like, I was shocked when I saw that, and the attorney didn't even know it was in there. I mean, he goes, "What are you talking about?" I said, "It's a 20/30 rule." I don't know how it got in there. I don't know who voted for it, but it's in there. So, recommendation is to change it to straight whatever it is that you work.
Yeah.
Any other questions? All right, now you can make your motion if you want to make a motion.
Okay, I'm thinking,
Sherry, you all right?
I'm gonna make,
I'm fine.
Okay, all right.
the motion is that we change the 4 items.
How about we approve the recommended stuff?
That sounds better. How would you like this worded?
Start with that and keep going the way you were going.
Okay.
We've done before, approve the recommended changes.
As
This is
they're
going to
written?
be
As
a
written
document,
here.
as, yeah.
Yeah,
This
it's
is,
gonna be a
well, no,
document.
because you wanna change it to January first.
As of.
That's
as
what it is.
Recommended changes as
On this-
effective January 1st.
Yeah, everything would be effective January.
Okay,
It's one
I'll
more.
make the motion that the board make the recommended changes to the retirement program.
Pension program.
Correct.
Pension plan.
The pension plan. As outlined to us in steps 1, 2, 3, 4 in the,
Second
Just say
amendment?
we approve
Yeah.
the recommended changes, period.
Marcy
Effective,
has it.
well, I'll second your motion, Chloe. Is that-
effective January 1st.
Yeah,
So
I agree with
complicated.
them all except for 2 and 3, so.
Oh, we already voted on number 1.
yeah.
Okay.
The mayor, you have to abstain. Because you're benefiting from the pension plan, you're not allowed to vote on it.
Okay, but she can
She
explain her
can,
grievances to
absolutely.
the
Yeah.
boards.
Right, I agree with all the changes outlined except for 2, 3 over the overtime pay. So, that's my opinion, I can't vote on it anyway, but I just wanna make it known that I agree with all the rest of it, but except for that one.
Okay. All right. Did you get that thing, Claire?
Approve the board to make the recommended changes to the pension plan as outlined in steps 1, 2, and 3, and 4 in the second amendment with the effective date of January 1st, 2020.
As they've been presented to us.
Yeah, as presented at.
Put the as presented.
As
in there.
presented on
Okay.
this date.
Mr.
Yeah.
Aiken, you wanna knock out that 1, 2, 3, and 4 and replace it with as
Well,
presented?
how would you do it? I mean, how are we gonna know what we're talking about if we don't put, I
This
mean,
is
we're gonna have this document as part of it?
As part of
Yeah.
the pension plan, this is
This
the
is part of the
second
pension.
amendment, so this will
Amendment.
always be part of the pension plan.
Okay.
That's what,
Okay,
it's your
so-
motions, I want you to get that
She
clarified
has
there.
it, yeah.
I didn't know how to say it without.
As written, yeah.
We got
as
this
written
document
here.
in there, I mean,
As written here to,
the
be
document
approved
that
on
we've been
day.
looking at.
Yeah, Marcy has it.
Do I hear a second?
I second.
Ms. Castillo seconds the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The mayor abstained. Not to, she didn't. She was forced to. All of, motion passes. All right. We're done for the day.
Done for the day.
Go back, is it?
We can take all this home with us, right?
Yeah, and if y'all have any questions about the budget over the next week, feel free to call Mr. Lower. I will answer your questions prior to the approval on the 31st. 30th.